your mentor is not your sponsor.
I actually go into a mentorship relationship with, I'm here to serve, not to collect. Mr. SACO, welcome to the Thrivers Group.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, really great to be here today. Thank you, sir.
Good stuff. Let's start with consistency. If you have been consistent, I've easily known you pretty much about 10 years, and you've been consistent. I mean, be it in Nigeria, be it in the UK, be it everywhere, just followed you, and you have been consistent. What's the key to that? What's your motive? What's your, do you want to talk to us about consistency?
Okay, so one of the things, thank you for that question, and thanks for the observation. One of the things that I said to myself when I was going to come into the comedy industry was, what do I want people to know me for? Even though that was not the right word, even though that was not what I said to myself, but what I was more comfortable with. I was a church boy. I'm still a church boy. I'm a Christian. I'm a member of the choir, and I didn't want to deviate from what I stood for as a Christian. And so when I was going to do comedy, I said to myself, what makes it easy for me to talk about Christ, do comparison about churches, growing up, and so I knew, I did a SWOT analysis, my strength, my weakness, my opportunities, and my threats. All these things I learned in the journey of being consistent. I didn't know what SWOT analysis was 15 years ago, but it was in the midst of where I feel very comfortable with, where I express myself easily. I do a lot of events. As a church member, as a choir guy, I used to introduce songs, and then during our concert, I anchor the event. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. That was what I was. So when I knew I wanted to become a comedian, I knew that I started as a gospel comedian, and I thank God for role models, and mentors like Holy Malam that I've seen since 2004. I was already living my dream because I saw him express himself well, as a church boy, and also being funny. So it was just in. It wasn't something I was struggling. When you don't struggle about something, for me, any church program I could go on. But as I grew older, I began to evolve to realize that as Christians we're sent to the marketplace. So you can't start saying I'm a gospel comedian. So I evolved to being a gospel comedian to being an ethical comedian, and from an ethical comedian to become a compere with a sense of humor. So the part of consistency for me was I was consistent. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that my job as a master of ceremony, as a comedian, is to make people happy, not to make them sad. So I knew that yabbing was out of it, making jest of people was out of it. So I don't talk about their weight. I don't talk about, I talk about myself. I use my experience, to share testimonies of how God has brought me from obscurity to security, because my job also is to be in the marketplace, to be relevant in the marketplace, even as Christians. So the consistency thing, I learned it that, you have to go through process. I want to go through process. I want to be able to stay. Everybody you see have gotten to the top went through a process. So for me, I was consistent. Yes, there were a lot of distractions about, guys got into the industry after you, and they are making wave, doing a lot of dirty jokes, and just not following, but for me, I knew what I knew. I knew what I wanted to achieve. And the truth be told, I was seeing testimonies, I was seeing effect, I was seeing proof to the fact that where you are is where God has positioned you to. And from feedback from people like you makes me better to realize that, see, just be consistent with what you're doing. Testimonies, and people are actually watching. But the truth is not about watching, it's not about people watching, it's about what you are, not when you're not on stage. The people around you, what are they saying about you? So consistency for me is something I've been preaching consistent. There's no overnight success. You must go through process. And in the course of the events we'll talk about, in the course of our conversation, I'll tell you other things that I did that made me where I am today.
Good. Let's still stay around there. So what, two questions in one. So the first one was, you were in music. How did you make the switch? Especially in your time where music possibly was more, maybe more, had more hopes or more aspiring especially in the Nigerian sector, in the Nigerian environment, where we've got where the church is viable. I mean, you could have been, you have a great voice, you could have been any of the top singers yourself and things like that right now
Yeah.
with consistency. How did you, what happened for you to know that that wasn't really your thing, but because that this will clear up a lot of people who are, it's called the curse of the gifted. It will clear up a lot of
Yes.
things for a lot of people who are gifted and don't know how do they make the switch, what do they focus on.
Okay, so that's one, two in one. That's a two-in-one question, right?
No, so that's one. The second one is, how have you stayed grounded?
Okay, all right. So for the music thing, I I say that I still love music. I still love music. Just that one way or the other, comedy got the better part of it. For me, I feel that comedy was a gift to me. Comedy was
Mm-hmm.
not was never was never something I planned to do. It was a gift. God gave me that gift. And every time I talk about it, I still have goosebump all over me. As I speak right now, I'm having goosebump over me to realize that God gave me that gift to just make me be a blessing. As a first child, there were a lot of responsibilities. I love to sing. I still love. My wife and I were in the choir. We met, in the choir. I took praise and worship. I was a member. I was an ESCO in the university. I used to be a member of an a cappella group. By the way, I met MC Mark in the UK, in Ilorin, when I went to University of Ilorin. It was when I gave me the name, the senior advocate of comedy back in university. So for people connecting for the first time, SACO is actually my initials, my first
Mm-hmm.
name. My first name is Sunday. The A is Ayodele. The C is Chukamadu, and the O is Okundalai. That's my surname.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm from Ondo State. My mother is from Delta State. I speak Yoruba very well. I speak Igbo very well, and I also speak in
Wow.
tongues. Okay, yeah, so I speak in tongues also, but I don't interpret tongues. Okay, okay. So, but Sako was a name that So singing for me, as a member of the choir, I used to be a member of the mass choir in Redeem. I used to be a member of the mass choir convention. I was there. Congress. I was there. We do rehearsal, at the Butemeta. But one thing that I know that music gave me a platform to express myself. Because when I was going to take a solo, they would say Sunday. People back home know me as Sunday. In my father's where I grew up, they know me as Sunday. It was when I got to
Mhm.
in university, I said to myself, I want Ayodele. I'm tired of Sunday. Sunday. Let me use Ayodele. My second name. So they would say Sunday, you're going to introduce a song. So I would introduce a song. Sometimes I would also have like a 15 seconds joke about the song, and then I'll do it, and then people will laugh. But I realized that comedy started taking a better part of me, even as a secondary school student. I was so engrossed into comedy that I repeated SS2. It was so
Wow.
bad. I couldn't read. I tell you. But I'm grateful to God that I repeated SS2 because it made me more serious. It gave me more definition to purpose. For me, failure is an event. I didn't fail. It was just a phase for me, for God to get my attention, and for me to understand that if I don't focus on my education, I might, and I don't get it right, I might fail in life. So
Mm.
so I gifting, or that music gave me the platform to express myself. Like I said, I anchored a lot of concerts in my area, in my church, in my home church, and then I would on during December period, I will wear white and red, and look out for Redeemed Church that are having concerts, and I'll go and meet them. I don't know whether they've gotten MC. I say my name is Sako. I attend Fountain of Life Redeemed Church. I want to answer your program,
Wow.
and they give me the opportunity. And they give me the opportunity and an anchor. Sometimes they give me money, they give me 5,000. I say 5,000. That's 5,000 was too much. 1,000, sometimes they give me donuts and all those things. So that music gave me the opportunity, gave me the platform. But comedy also was a gift for me, So and what you do consistently for 21 days becomes an habit. And for you to become a professional in anything you have done, you should have done it over 10,000 hours. And
Mhm.
so singing for me and also anchoring for me, well, it's still intertwined. But like I said, I might not be able to explain it in full, but it was just the foundation to push me forward to say, you know what, I know that guy used to be in the choir. So I do a lot of things for pastors. I do a lot of things for individuals in the church that knew me as a choir member, as a church boy, as a choir boy, but also knew me as an MC. So that's it. It was just easy for me. It was just easy for me. The second question was, if I let me
Grounded.
remember.
How do you stay grounded? Yeah.
Well, mentorship and my pastors. I've said this so many times. Pastor Kune wrote to me. Was our youth pastor back in Redeem, and I remember how he would gather us as teenagers, and then put us in his office and then speak to us. He was the first person I had used say the word. There are three things that affect your life: what you see, the friends you keep, and the what you see, what you hear, and the friends you keep. So it basically made me shaping the friends that I had around me. So I didn't drink as a child. I didn't take alcohol. I didn't smoke. A lot of guys around my area, kids where I grew up, were into Yahoo and everything. But because I was grounded, I had mentors. I had mentors. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't have a father figure in my life. My father wasn't there for me when I was growing up. Till date, he's not still there. But thank God for people in the faith that helped me till date. That I have mentors. I always surround myself with mentors. I go meet them. In fact, sometimes I go meet them and say, sir, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. I need you, sir. I need to
Mm.
be submissive to you. And that's why my wife is, my wife feels very comfortable because she knows that God forbid I misbehave. She knows people to. There's some calls I will receive now. I know I'm in trouble before I pick the calls. It's either is it especially when I maybe my wife and I have early in our early years of marriage when I have and I
Mm.
see those people call, I know that there's something. I am answerable to them till date.
Mm.
So no matter how big God has taken me, how by the grace of God I live in my house in not more, not one, not two, I am still submissive to them. I still let them know I am still the same boy that you met a few years ago. MC Mark is still my mentor. Is still somebody I submit to. Every time I come to the UK, I'm reaching out to him. I come for a show. The last time in 2017, I came for a show. I booked my flight, came for a show to support, to let him know that he gave me the platform, back in university. So nothing has changed. I'm the celebrity. My wife says she doesn't see me as a celebrity, and I don't see myself as a celebrity. I'm just privileged to be among the people that God has favored. I tell you the truth. Sometimes when I find myself in some countries, and I say to myself,
How
God,
did
if
I get?
not for you, sir, how did I get?
Yeah.
If not for you, I won't be here. You know, no matter, and these are things that people take for granted. If you don't give me two-bedroom flat, if you don't give me two-bedroom apartment, I know they come. If you don't put me in business class, sir, once I can see expression of where I can, because it's a privilege. It's a privilege for people to call you, not a
Yep.
right. It's a privilege. I remember a few years ago, you wanted me to anchor your 40th birthday. You need to
Yep.
see how excited I was when you reached out to me. Because I wish it came to pass. I wanted to, because for me, when people call you, it means that God is putting your name in their heart. So for me, I don't take them for granted. I have people I'm still answerable to. So anything that is making me still grounded is the grace of God. I wake up to say, God, I am grateful to God that I'm happy. I'm alive. I have three children. My wife is here. She's here with me, supporting me. And I'm so privileged. I'm so privileged. So nothing can take me, out of being grounded in Christ and grounded to date.
That's good stuff. So since you've dived into mentorship, let's go, which is the theme for today. Let's go into mentorship. So, by your definition, what mentorship?
Mentorship is it has different meaning. I wrote a book during the COVID lockdown, Crumbs to Riches, how mentorship has helped me to date. And mentorship for me is having someone that's superior. I use the word superior in a very good way. Mentorship is where you have somebody that's superior holding your hands, somebody that is experienced, not superior, more experienced than you are, holding your hands to get to where you want to achieve, where you want to go to. So and also I also define mentorship as a symbiotic relationship. I learned that in
Mm.
biology, symbiotic where you learn from me, I learn from you. That's the kind of relationship that I have with my protege. Um, and I try as much as possible to have the same relationship with my mentor also to be symbiotic, where I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. I don't want to be therapeutic, where I'm just collecting, and then you're not giving back. So for me, it is very, very essential that mentorship it's a symbiotic relationship for me. I have proteges today that I learned from. You don't want to know how much knowledge I've gotten from them, as a mentor. And I'm grateful to God. Sometimes I'm stuck. I just say, you know what, Damola, I have guys that are they have PhD, they're presently doing their PhD. I have guys that are doing very well, that God has helped me to mentor a few years ago that did not even have, bearing, and they're doing very well. They're not even now my competitors, they are my collaborators. Because really they've evolved to just not being the proteges. They're now, some events that I can't do, they call, how some clients will call you, and then they'll call you for an event, and then you give them a prize, and they go beyond because they know these guys are your proteges, and they go call them, and you realize that that protege that is the one doing the event, but God has made me secured, because that's another way where you need to have a secured leader as a mentor. Not all mentors are secured. Not all mentors are secured. I say to you, not all mentors. But I have taken my mentorship to a level where any privileged person that I have, or privilege that I have to mentor, I see them as my children. It's, every time my children do well, I'm excited. Every time my children do not do well, I'm not happy about it. But I tell you, I've learned that in the years that, it's not easy. It's not easy especially when you're not secured and you see that your protege is doing. I'm going to share a testimony in the course of the event. It's because of our conversation, to let you know how God delivered me. How God delivered me. So let me just answer the mentorship, and so we can ask the other questions. How God delivered me and made me understand I needed to be secured as a leader, as a mentor to my protege. So it's a symbiotic relationship. My summary is a symbiotic relationship.
Cool. What should someone then be thinking about? So, no, actually, you said something. Let's go from there first. Why would leaders not be insecure?
Why will leaders be insecure?
Especially as the mentorship relationship. Yeah. What creates for this type of insecurity, in your opinion?
What envy one way or the other gets into their head. Envy is a very dangerous thing. It comes gradually. It begins to come gradually, and then all of a sudden it forms a Robocop, or it forms a whatever it is in your mind, and then you just realize that every time you think about this person is hatred. That there are a lot of things. When a leader is not, when a mentor is not secure, it's either his foundation. It got where it got to by happenstance. He didn't understand by happenstance. He just did one or two things and he got to that top. I know it's easy to get to the top, but you have to have the stability to maintain to being at the top. Not everybody has that capacity to being at the top. Not everybody has that capacity. Nobody has that capacity to release your protege. That's why you see, even in churches, you see some pastors still not secured. When a member or a pastor leaves, they still feel hatred. They still feel that, oh, this person has taken their members, but the level that God has taken me to realize that it's a privilege. So when these guys, so if someone is not secured as a leader, there's something wrong. It's a dysfunctional mindset. It's a dysfunctional mindset. It's someone that is not well brought up. He has not gone through the proper process. Like I said, he does go to that mentorship thing, or more experience. He's just more experienced, but he's not well grounded. Okay, so for some people that are not secured as mentors, it's either they are not one way, they're not well grounded, and they don't understand that it's a privilege. It's a time. The Bible talks about time and chance. It's a privilege for you right now to do the things that you're doing for this person. You'll be shocked how many blessings you receive from the person you're mentoring. I learned this a long time. He said, it's one thing to sow a seed. It's good to, the Bible, you talk about sowing a seed. It's good to sow seed. There are principles of sowing seed. But it's not everywhere that you sow the seed, you reap it. Sometimes I get some jobs, I know that I'm not qualified for it, but I know that God is blessing me because God sees my heart, that I have good intention for my proteges. So if someone is not comfortable or is insecure, he does not understand. I think he does not understand fully the position that God has put him. It's either they don't know They don't know. They don't know the position to realize that, see, if God opens their eyes to see how God has impacted it to be a kingmaker, not for you to begin to want to crush the people that God has sent to your way. I think that's what yeah, that's, I think, to a reasonable extent, that's what I can answer. Do you ever question your mentor about some of their principles or teaching? Yes, from observation. One of the things I've learned from, I was listening to Dr. Sam Ekundayo, and he was being interviewed, or he was interviewing one of his mentors, and he talked about 4 crucial things about mentorship, how our proteges are supposed to, work with their mentors, and that for me has made my lifestyle very easy. I pick the ones that are positive. Not everyone is perfect. You see, even our parents, we saw some things that we didn't like about them, and but the truth is we can't trade them for anything. And we pick the great part. My father, in spite of the fact that I said, my father wasn't there for me. My father built his first house at 33. First house before he was 30. And at 33, he built the house where my mother still stays still date in Lagos. And I picked that part of it, and I said to myself as a teenager, I would, but especially when my father's wife began to say things that, as a first child, I was going to take over my father's property, and I said, as a JSS3 student, and I said to my father, Daddy, the house that God is going to build for me, then JSS3 student, I did not have any bearing, I didn't even know what the future looked like. And I said, Dad, the house God is going to bless me with will be small compared to what you have here. My father had four flats that he was collecting. We lived in one, and the 3 was, for rent. And I tell you till date, it gave me a mindset to understand that I should not depend on my father's property. My father has 3 wives. I can't have 3 wives. I only have 1 wife. So I picked the part. My father has 9 children. I can't have 9 children. And I picked the one that concerns me. I picked the one. Until date, I tell you, I'm interested in properties just like my father was or is, and I picked the part where, investing. Before I was 30, 31, 32, by the grace of God, 33, I'd got to my first house, even though I had properties that I was passionate about buying. So I picked up that part, and it talked about 4 important things that you need to know about your mentors, about the part of observation, the part of explanation, the part of experience, and the part of revelation. 4 important parts. Observation. There's some questions that you will not ask your mentors if you observe them. Because if you observe the way your mentors relate, you will not. What will make you get explanation from the mentor is when you ask him based on the observation that you've had. So, for instance, your mentor wrote a book, and then the chapter 2 of the book talked about how so thing, and then you refer to your mentor and say, sir, in your book in chapter 2, paragraph 2, you said this. It gives you a better explanation from what it means that you read the book, compared to somebody that just came and says, sir, your book
means
has
you're
been
invested in what he's doing.
Yes. So they compared to somebody that says, sir, your book has blessed my life. Every chapter. It just said general, because basically he has not picked out 1 or 2 things. So you begin to, so when you observe how your mentor dresses, you observe his quiet time, you observe how he picks calls and all these things. You ask questions. So I observe that by 12 o'clock, you usually pray. It means you've observed. I've observed you, sir, for like 2 months. I've observed you for 3 years. I noticed that once it's 12 o'clock, there's something that changes around you. You do this. He explains things to you. That's observation, explanation. And then you have your own experience, where you have to experience your own experience, different from your mentor. The mentor will direct you and say, okay, do this, but you have your own experience, and then God begins to give you your own part of your revelation, where you begin to reveal your true self to you, to say, you know what, I brought this person into your life because of this. Now, this is your own revelation. So when you're talking from your place of revelation. You're not talking about your mentor. You're talking about your place of revelation. So I don't question. I've never questioned any of my mentors. I'll be truthful to you. I want to be as true, as true as possible. But what I do is I pick the positive side. I pick most of the positive, and God has surrounded me with amazing mentors that they challenge me to do better. Pastor King Sokonko is one of my mentors. Reverend Samademi is one of my mentors. Even my main mentor, Reverend Samademi, that's my pastor. And he has taught me humility. I have learned things from different part of people. So if you're in the place where you want to correct your mentor, That's the way you will say it. I don't question them. I say to you, and like I said, I have good mentors around me. So I have not had. It's only one out of my mentors that I realized that the obscurity thing began to come into place. But in spite of it, to date, I still celebrate the mentor. I still celebrate
Mm.
him. I still celebrate him every time on his birthday. I celebrate him. Things just happened that something got into a lot of things that But I still remember the first day I met him, how he treated me, how he gave me platform. I still celebrate him till date. So it's not my duty to start judging. My own is do my part as a protege. I see a question. Can a mentor also be your friend? I read a book and it says the fact that your mentor is the fact that your mentor is friendly with you does not mean he is your friend.
Mm.
The fact that he's friendly with you does not mean he's a friend. Don't take that. Don't mix it up. Don't mix up. It's like your father being your friend, and then because he's your friend, you say daddy. You now say daddy Ori. You now eat your father on the head. You get the fact that he plays with you, he checks up on you, he calls you. Is he even takes you out. Sometimes some fathers take their children out to drink alcohol, and I know some people that will say their father told them to take their first alcohol. So I don't even get to that level where to date. I don't take every time I see them, I reference them. It's like me taking Reverend Sam and says, you're my friend. You're my friend. No. So yeah, you don't take it. Somebody says, how many mentors can someone have? You can have mentors in all the industry, everything that concerns you. You have mentors in marriage, you have mentors in finance, you have mentors in your industry. You can, as long as you can give them their respect. Nobody's clashing on anybody. You're not doing any comparison. Everybody has their unique strength. You don't compare this man. I like this my mentor because he does this. And like I say to people, your mentor is not your sponsor.
Mm.
Your mentor is not your sponsor.
What's the difference? But go on though.
Your mentor is someone that guides you, hold your hands, and directs you. A sponsor is someone that picks you and says, I want to sponsor you. It could be a record label and so sponsor you. I see that you can sing and then I want to sponsor you through. But as he's sponsoring you, he has something he wants to collect in mind. He has something. When he sponsors you, see that you are promoting his brand. He said that you are promoting. But when you go through proper mentorship, you don't need a sponsor. You will not need a sponsor eventually, because I tell you today that I've never needed a sponsor, to do anything I'm doing. But because of the things I've learned from my mentors, I am, so mentorship for me is someone that hold your hands, and the wealth of experience that he has, what it took him 10 years to achieve, 10 years to achieve. When you sit down and you are consistently following the person, in 2 years, they achieve the things. My first trip to the UK in 2012, my mentor, Oli Malam, had some challenges trying to get a visa for years to the UK. And then as soon as I started, I submitted myself under him, and I was open, and he saw that I was faithful. He began to share with me some of the mistakes I should not do in my account. I should have a separate account where I'm saving money. I should pay my tax. I should do this. I should do this. And the first opportunity I had once to apply as, for UK, they gave me my visa. So the thing that it took him years to achieve, because I was consistent and I was following him up and I was faithful, because faithfulness is essential. Faithfulness, mentor, because faithfulness is an attribute that a protege needs, to be sure that you are celebrating this person you are calling your mentor. You're not backstabbing. You're not taking information from your principal, because as a mentor, it's your principal taking information from your mentor and then sharing it to people, outside to the outside world. You might feel you're sharing with your friend, but you don't know who your friend is sharing the information with. So that's are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm here.
I don't know if you have a different
So that's good. That's good.
definition
So
for.
no. You're perfectly right. So whose responsibility is it to maintain a protege mentorship relationship?
It's more of the protege. It's more of the
Okay.
protege. You are the one trying to get something. You are the one getting something. So it's more of the protege. I've had people argue and say the mentor also has the duty, but I tell you, as a protege, you're consistently following, following up to. I had to follow up my mentor. I
Yeah.
was looking out for and not now that we have phones. I was looking out for every banner. that has to do with the name Oli Malam. If Oli Malam is going to be there, I will go. I will go. And thank God for my mother. She gave me the opportunity. Vigil, I will go. I will sit down. I will watch this man. You know, he came to Ilorin one time. I was in Ilorin to see him, to see the way he anchored the program. It's your job. There is something he knows that you do not know. I know a lot of people will tell you, you know, there's a lot of misconception right now. You don't need a mentor. You don't need a mentor. I'll tell you the truth. One way or the other, a mentor has helped you to achieve to get to where you're going to. You know, like one of my mentors, Mr. Nia Adesola, says, no one gets to the top except somebody brings you to the top.
Yep.
No one brings you to the top. Somebody brought you to the top. The fact that you are graduated today, someone that you did not know made a decision over you. They made a decision to say that this guy did very well. You would have just said this guy did not do very well and the person is struggling. Somebody brought you to the top. You were taught by somebody. So even if you say you have to read a book, you don't have to be close to somebody, but somebody brought you to the top. Somebody brought you. You had a parent. You had somebody, even if you didn't have a mother or a father,
even the
an
teachers,
uncle brought you. Even your teachers. That's what I'm saying. You know, so nobody gets to the top except somebody brings them. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's a job of a protege to follow up, to see that you are faithful, to follow up, to, you know, to serve. There are a lot of opportunities with different ways of, you see that you people that love gifts. That, you know, one of the things that Dr. Ubon King said is, you cannot go to your mentor's place empty-handed. It's not asking for too much. He has enough. But if it is bread, and you know he has children, if it's biscuit, if it's candy, buy. As small as some of my proteges send me a recharge card of 200 naira, and sometimes they are embarrassed. I say, no, don't be embarrassed that you sent me 200 naira recharge card. It wasn't the 200 that I looked at. It was your intention. It was your heart that I saw. The fact that you sent it to me, I appreciate it. So don't, you know, I cannot go to my mentor's place empty-handed. I must go with bread. I must go with something. Bread is 350, bread is 400, and you go with it. I have guys around me that they must come to my, you know, so, and because they've seen me. So it's one thing to say this word, it's one thing to put it into action. Because people are watching beyond the things that you say. You know, to the extent of your children observe you. Do you know that even your dogs observe? Even your dogs, they observe the things that you do. So how do you tell them to shake? They observe that when you tell them to shake, when you ask them to shake, is because you said the things and they say shake. So they stretch. So if your dog or your cat can observe, your children also observe. And you know, children now are outspoken. So when you say something and you don't do it, they tell you, Daddy, that's not what you told us. You are doing something. They tell you, there was something we could not say to our fathers when we were growing up. They tell it to you, to your face, and say, Daddy, that is wrong. So my children know that you can't watch PG-13. Daddy, that is PG-13. We cannot watch it. Mommy says we can't watch it. I say, yes, you cannot watch it. So I want to watch it. So now I watch news more. And say, Daddy, we can't watch news. I say, I want to watch news. If you want to watch cartoon, go to your room and watch cartoon. We have cartoons in your. You can't come to my sitting room and you dictate what I want. Please go to your with courtesy. Go help me bring water. Can you please bring water for me? Thank you. So the job of a mentor, of a protege, is for you as a protege to follow up, to get what you need to get, and appreciate them. Always learn to appreciate them. Always learn to. Once in a while, send them a text message that says, I appreciate you. I know you're busy, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to be mentored by you.
So in this, that's great stuff. In this social media age where everybody thinks they have all the information on the internet, and just like what you were talking about, they don't need anybody. What will be your advice for people like that?
See, I think I've been asked this question so many times. I can't force anybody into mentorship. I can't. Like I said, you know, like since Mr. Nia Adesola has said that word, I just said to myself, you can't. You see that if you don't have mentor, you know, there's a difference between a mentor and a role model. Mentors are people that you have access to one-on-one. Role models are people that you admire from afar. You don't have access to them, but you read their book.
So let's stay there. Let's stay there a bit. So your mentor, just based on what you've just said, so there's the responsibility then on the mentor also to provide access, right?
Yes. There's a provision there, but you know, the mentor must also be sure that you are consistent. You're not there to get information, because a lot of
bring into that kind of proximity.
Yes, because also some mentors are very protective of their space. They do not want you to come, and then they don't know where you're coming from. Sometimes
Yep.
some people even pray about it and say, oh God, what are you saying to this person? Especially people that are very sensitive. What are you saying about this person? Should I bring this person to me? What do you want me to teach this person? And like I said, and some mentors are very, very careful not to be vulnerable. There's nothing wrong for you to be,
Oh,
for
yeah.
you not to be vulnerable. I'm a thick skinned. Trust me. I've seen my mother break down. I've broken down. I've cried in presence of my wife. Not because of anything. I could be emotional. As men, we believe that, oh, don't cry, don't cry. I cry when I'm worshiping. I cry when I remember where I'm coming from. I cry in front of my proteges. I cry when I was celebrating my 10 years on stage. My mentor Oli Malam and Ali Baba and Dr. Samade and me were on stage, and they asked all my proteges to come on stage, and I had over 40 people that God has helped me, 40 to 50 people that God has helped me to influence in the past, 10 years since I started comedy. And I began to cry. I was breaking, I broke down, and my wife was asking why I was crying. People were asking why I was crying. I'm grateful to God that God has brought these people around me, and I've been able to influence them. And guess what? They're going to influence other people. I've given people shoes, I've given people suits, I've removed my suit. You like this suit, take it. I've given people opportunities, platforms. I've traveled with them. They've gone with me to Dubai. They've gone with me to Paris. They've gone with me to South Africa. And I'm grateful to God that God has given the free. That's how I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me. So for me, it is important that your responsibility as a mentor is make sure that if you're going to mentor this person, treat the person well. The person might not look like it right now, but trust me, if you don't treat that person well, you might have regrets. If you want to adopt this person, if you want to make this person better, share with the person all that you've learned. Pour out yourself in this person. The person might not come back to say thank you, but God sees it, and God sees it. Every time. One of the proteges that I had, or one, well, I'm very, very careful about this conversation where I was robbed in 2016, and one of my proteges was one that came to the house, and trust me, it was just a coincidence. A lot of people said it was that my protege that brought robbers. But I said to you, even when we got to police station, and they said, who is the first suspect? I said, I don't have a suspect. Because this guy has worked with me for 2 years, and it could just be an apple stance or something. In the morning, he just came into my house, and then I was still in short, and then two guys came into my house, true robbers. By 2:09, I was getting ready to go to church. And the target was my wife. If my wife was going to have our kid, our son, our first son in the US. She was supposed to leave
Yeah, I
on
think I
Sunday,
remember
and the Holy
this.
Spirit said,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And then the Holy Spirit said, let her leave on Friday. And she
Yeah.
arrived in the US 6 p.m. And I got home. I had an event for Reverend Sam on Saturday evening, in the church. I anchored an event for international guests. And I got home, I was watching TV, and the Holy Spirit said, you're watching TV, you have not even thanked God for safety for your wife. I didn't know the Holy Spirit was asking me to thank God for my life. So I switched on the TV and I was saying, thank you, Jesus, for safety for my wife. Thank you, Jesus, because I know I will hear good news. All the while when I was praying, my wife was in the guard room in that security room in Houston. They were interviewing her because they wanted to know how much she had if she was not, eloping and all those things. Long and short story, in about 10, 15 minutes, my wife called me and said she has been cleared. And Sunday morning, I was robbed. And they came in and they said, where's the money? Where's the dollars? Where's your wife? So they were specific. The people gave them full information. They took my wedding ring, gold wedding ring. They took my laptop, this, and God kept me alive. So there are proteges that just come to get information about you. But trust me, if you have an information, if you have something you need to bless people with, bless them. All this content that you do today, you don't know our lives. I've followed you for years. You've been consistent in what you are doing. And you sometimes it could get to a place where you're discouraged and say, you know what, I'm not mentoring anybody. I'm not even sharing any information again. But you'll be shocked that somebody is being blessed.
Getting
And
blessed.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
one day you just get into one country and say, you don't know me, but I've been following you for years.
Yeah.
You have blessed me. So
Wow. That's good stuff. So I have two things. Let me start with one. So I tell my clients that you should never really be seeking the mentor, and you've kind of touched on it. You should never really be seeking a mentor that you have not taken time to investigate and study. So, have you read his books? Do you know? I mean, some of my mentors literally every. I'm not on social media as such. I have a social media manager, but you see, my mentors, everything they tweet or whatever, those are, I get a notification. Everything they do, ever do. I may not get everything going on social media, but the people who I've said are my mentors. I never miss anything they do. I am invested in them that way. I read every book, every program. Some of them I've not even met. Some of them I've not yet had the privilege of access. Yes. But I know every single thing they do. And when I'm reading their books and when I'm listening to their stuff, I'm listening to it. It feels like they are talking to me. We're having coffee together, or something like that. So I want you to, what are the steps? So if there's anything like steps, what does a protege need to be thinking about in wanting to covet a mentor or get into a mentorship relationship? What should they be doing? And I'm going to follow that up with a lead-on question. If I went into my phone, I have I have about 300 questions I have in a note on my phone that I ask mentors. So if I ever get in front of my mentor at dinner or whatever, it's not new. I know the page to go to, and I start asking my mentors.
Yes.
If I ever get in front of mentors, my questions are ready to go, good to go, and I'm constantly updating those notes. So from your experience, how have you gotten into these relationships with mentors? And what were your steps to getting there for them to now want to agree with you, agree to want to mentor you?
Okay, so I'll be truthful to you. I'll be very, very truthful to you. One of the things that I do about getting my mentors is because some of the people that have agreed to mentor me is they've seen me do my stuff. They've seen me consistently do the things that I'm doing. And I'm also impacting life as building content and building proteges and making them better in what they're doing. So most of the mentors that I've gotten, some of them even picked me one way or the other. It just started. You know how you are not even how the mentorship did not start, but you just realize that you are already conversing with this person. You're already in this person's house, being mentored, and because of the relation, one way or the other, you just leave the open letter. Oh, you're my son, and then it goes. But as a protege, one of the things that you must know is you need to know what values does this person have. Values is essential. I've seen Christian being mentored by a Muslim. And this guy is a Christian, and he says, you know what this man knows in property is my mentor.
No, my first coach was a Muslim.
Yes.
And nobody has ever, I say this a lot, no one has pushed me to my fate ever, not a pastor, like this woman did. He said, I would come up with crazy ideas and things like that, and she would be the one to remind me and say, but you're a man of faith. You understand? So, but that's a competition for today. Because a lot of us Christianity, we are blinded. We put an edge to, but that's not today's. Go on.
They are gentlemen. They have women that are not sharing the same religion with you, but the values that they carry, you'll be shocked in their calmness. So the value system is, what value does this person carry? If I move closer to this person, if I submit myself to this person, where would I see myself? Because they're already living your dream. They're already living 10 years of your dream, the things you want to achieve. They're already living it. Their dream is different, first. The second thing is, will I be able to be submissive to this person? Because submission is very important. Submission is very important. You have to be able to be submissive to this person. You cannot say you have a mentor and he says, go and do this thing, guys. I can't do it. I can't do it, especially when he's in the space of the ethics of mentorship, because they're ethics. You know how people
not the abuse. I get you.
Yes. So you're not being abused. So those are things: submission, the values, also the third thing I'm trying to rack my head to see, because for me it's just been coming as to submit myself as a protege, to say, sir, I've come and I'm following you up. Every event that you do, I'm there for you. In fact, I am there. Come with gifts. Come with gift. There are many ways. Come with gift. If you just come with gift. I started getting close to a Brother Jibe Face 2 years ago, and then I began to get in. I began to get intentional about how I related with him. Whenever I was doing a show, I would go there on time, help him arrange the chairs. I just wanted to learn some things that he knew. You know, I didn't have the privilege of working with him in a long time, but I followed him up. Every time he had a birthday, I would send gift to him. I would write a check as low as 30,000. He would be excited. He never mentored me, but as much as possible, doing those things one way or the other, it began to open up to me. I had ideas I was sharing with him. You know, my first, you know, I had an idea that God put in my heart to help comedians and entertainers go to Dubai, because my second international trip was to Dubai, and from Dubai was after that I went to the UK, and God led him and said, help comedians, help people to go to Dubai, let them know, because people feel that traveling is difficult. But you know, when I began to, and I shared the idea with him, I said, you know what, God even told him to do that a few years ago, I didn't do it. And so he could relate with me, and he shared those things with me. So there are many, many ways, but these are three major ways: submission, value system, and then I think of the third one. But you, sir, you know how you have all the tips. But
No,
it's going to be flexible. It's
yeah,
flexible for you. You know the things that works. You know, like I said, from reading his book or their book, you will
you will hear
that
their mind.
that works for them. You know,
Mhm.
you
You will
hear
hear
them
their
right.
mind.
Yeah.
You'll be able
So
to hear their thoughts
yes,
on matters. In fact,
yes,
I actually go ahead and say you should not really be asking when you have access to your mentors, you really shouldn't be
yes.
asking them the questions that is in a book
In the book, yes,
that they've already
yes,
put in the
yes.
book. So
That they
because
already put in book.
that's a waste of time. You should have gone to read the book.
Yes,
So
yes.
the privilege of that access is that you're getting the privilege of deep dive. So
Deep that, yes,
how did you get to this reasoning? Do you understand? What
yes.
state were you in that allowed you
That
right
power of
this?
observation.
That's the
Yes,
privilege of that
yes,
access. You know?
yes.
So it's a whole lot of, it's a mindset that number
It's a
one, I have
mindset.
to be able to put myself in a place of humility to want to receive to someone else. And now
Yes,
another major thing, I think I had a thought. I also go into mentorship relationship, and you said it. I actually go into a mentorship relationship with I'm here to serve, not to collect.
yes,
Can I
yes.
serve you? How can I serve you? How can
Can
I
I
serve
have it?
you? Right? And it is in my service that I then begin to get blessed. What are your thoughts on that?
Get this. Yes, I believe and I agree with you. You know, how even before you ask, you know, somebody will be asking, what if the person does not have a book? And the person does not have a book, the person posts all the time. So,
Yeah,
like you said, you watch out for the
yeah.
tweet.
I
So if
capture
the
all of
person
that.
so even if the person does not have a book yet, you could actually observe, you know, from the thing that the person has posted and say, do what? I've done this, I've done this. And you could even be a problem solver. One
Mm,
of the relationship that, you know, I talk about to date is the relationship between Mr. Feladro Toye and Steve Harris.
yeah.
Steve Harris came as a problem solver. He used to stay in Yanopada. Mr. Steve Feladro Toye stays in VGC, and he will
Mm,
come all the way. He realized that Steve Bros Fela didn't have his cassette. He didn't have his audio, you know, well packaged, and he reached out to him and said, "Sir, I want to be responsible for this." And that
mm,
was how he was sorting it out. And from there, he followed him to training. And then one day, you know, fella gave him the opportunity. I'm not going to be around. Okay. Or, you know what? Steve, come and speak for a few minutes. And that was it. And trust me, Steve Harris is called the
yep.
executioner. He's doing great things. And trust me, he has not forgotten his mentor because he gave
He's
him the
still
platform.
very loyal to him, very
He's
serves
still
him.
very loyal himself. So come as a problem solver. So I noticed that your website, you do not have a website. I came up with a website for you. I am an IT. Sir, take a look. What do you think about this? The person will get
Mm,
your attention. So I noticed your graphics are kind of funny. No, not funny. No. Sir, I saw this on your page and I did this. I don't know what you feel about it.
mm,
You're not coming to downplay to say that, sir, I don't know who's doing your graphics, but sir, I think that person is not doing a great job. Let me do
mm.
this is what I did for you. No, sir, I saw your graphics. I saw what you said on the 5th of October. You know, by
That
12
means you're
noon.
paying attention.
That means you're paying attention.
Yep.
So it's very, very important. Don't say he hasn't written a book. Okay, what's his lifestyle? What are the events he has done? Where is he from? Some people do not even know the names of their mentors.
Oh yeah.
They just know their nickname. Some people reach out to me and say, Sir, I want you to mentor me. I said, what do you know about me? Say, I know you're
Yep.
funny. I know that you are a Christian. I know you're a Christian comedian. I say, I know that I know that you don't abuse people. I said, okay, what's my full name? They don't know. I said, you know what? Google SACO comedian and just find out. Find out what, let me know what, because I want to give you a benefit of doubt. So you know the kind of work I'm doing. You know, first, you don't use the F. I tell the guys around me, you don't use the F word around me. You can't use any derogatory statement around me. I am careful what comes into my head. I'm careful of the kind of music that I listen to. When I get into my car, the music. I'm in control of the music that I hear. You know how sometimes you just see some song that you don't have on your phone because from consistently you just hear them as wave. So for me, it's be a problem solver, and then the rest will be easy for you.
Wow, that's so good. What's a no for you from a protege?
A no for a protege is gossiping about another mentor. Gossiping about another mentor. Gossip. You come around and you're gossip, especially when you're not even mentor by a colleague. Especially the fact that especially when we're in the same, especially in the same age group, and you're talking about the person. It's a no for me. I avoid them. I have guys that they will tell you, they'll give you, and then when they're giving you, they're getting your own information, and then you'll be shocked. You'll just realize that somebody's saying something. So it's a no. Don't gossip around me. Don't talk down on anybody. You can't talk down on anybody around me. Even if we're not relating well, or I'm presently running a project, and then one of the guys that we don't converse well, and one of the guys was doing comparisons. Say, bros, the things that you have, this guy does not have it. This guy said no. Everybody's assignment is different. Everybody, bro. So you're supposed to put this thing online. Let it flow and let it make noise. This is the kind of car you're driving. They're supposed to. I said, my brother, everybody's assignment is different. I drive the car that I'm driving, but my investment is more than the car that I'm driving. When the time comes, I'm going to drive a good car. I'm going to drive, but as much as not drive a good car, I drive a car that can take me anywhere. But the car does not define me. If anybody is defining me with the car that I'm driving, as an issue, he does not know me. I've learned that a long time ago. You can't put pressure on me. I can't do. So a no is don't and don't look down on yourself. I encourage anybody, don't look down. You're going to be great. I tell them, if you're coming around me, see, you must get an international passport. I have the new guys, get your international passport. Go there are opportunities. What if tomorrow somebody says, SACO, I need 5 guys, I need 7 guys to come to the UK, and I'm going to take care of the UK, or I need 7 guys to come to Dubai or any country. You're not saying you're just doing your passport. So you can't even work with me without having. I must let you know that, see, you know what? I never believed I was going to get to this area. So if you're going to work with me, you have to, come on my pace and understand that I have your interest in mind to make sure that you come out best. Because when you come out best tomorrow, by the grace of God, it's going to be a crown. It's going to be, I'm going to have a crown to say that I was able to be a blessing to this person. So don't gossip around me. Don't look down on yourself.
Well, I don't know what the Nigerian terrain has been like. What have you learned in this COVID season? What are you learning that you can share with us? What has it been for you in your industry and things like that? And are you pivoting? How have you stayed afloat? What lessons do you think people who are in the creatives can possibly learn from you as a result of this season?
This season taught us a lot. If I open our eyes, some people were shocked. Some people were stranded. I was almost stranded, but I thank God for God helping me to evolve. Like I said, I began to evolve. As a match, I got some people saying they wanted me to anchor an event on Zoom. I said to you, the first time I heard the word Zoom was in March. I never knew anything called Zoom. But I tell you, I've anchored countless, during this period, I anchored a lot of events on Zoom, and they paid my bills. So the new normal right now is for you to be techie, to know much about how. So I anchor a lot of events on Zoom. I've anchored live events. Evolve. Don't just limit yourself to say I'm a comedian. This is part of the world that I hear that, okay, if you're a comedian, you can't do any other thing. If you're doing other thing, it means that you're not making money. But see, for Christ's sake, you can have your own business. you can start business. People that have, I had content on YouTube, but I wasn't consistent. Trust me, this period, a lot of people cashed out. People made a lot of money because they were consistently throwing out content. This period, a lot of people became popular for something they've been doing for years. And then this period, COVID-19, people were going on the internet. A lot of people consumed a lot of content on the internet, and they made some people go viral. And people made money, made billions. So if you are in this industry, this is not a period where you just stay and say, okay, focus on one thing. As you focus on one thing, diversify. I'm not limited to just being a comedian. I've evolved to just being a comedian. I don't like not well, if you know me as a comedian, you know me, but I will not introduce myself as a comedian any longer. It's either I introduce myself as an event coordinator, entertainment entrepreneur, because I've evolved to just not just being a comedian. Yes, I've evolved. I'm not compared with sense of humor. I realize that some people do not like comedy. They do not like, when they hear comedy, they've had some bad experiences with comedy. So when they hear comedy, they say, no. So when I say I'm a compare with sense of humor, so I compare and I bring sense of humor to what I'm doing. So collaborate. This is a period where you need to start looking for competitors and say, it's my competitor. This is a period where you need to collaborate with your competitors. Collaboration is a new competition. Collaboration is a new competition. It's a new competition. Trust me. I tell you the truth. I reached out. My wife and I, my wife became popular this period because I said to myself, my wife is funnier. Not joke. My wife is funnier than I am. She has a great sense of humor. We did some things. We began to do content every week to our singing. She had a twist of her singing. She could not pronounce some words in Yoruba. She's Yoruba. And a lot of people, feedback I got was, SACO, your wife is funnier than you. Your wife is funnier than you. And I never felt bad. For Christ's sake, I've been funny for 15 years. So if my wife is funnier now, I should be able to give her the opportunity and give her all the backings and say, baby, as long as our name is in the heart of people. And so as we're doing content, people were remembering me. And I tell you, see, if you're watching this thing, give people platform. Don't hoard information and say, I don't want this guy, I don't want this person to know the things that I know. If this person know, he will not be loyal again. Trust me. If the content comes from you, it's a plus for you. It's a seed. It's a period where you need to allow people, fly. Put out content there. You don't know he's watching. I've gotten events in my life where I was putting out content, anchoring my event without looking at. I was doing eye service, and somebody from the crowd would say, "I got your card from this. You didn't see me, but I love what you did. Can you come and anchor my event?" Yes, thank you. Yes, somebody's saying collaboration. Yes, that's the truth. You didn't see me, but I saw you. And from there, I moved. Platform. I was going to share a story, and I've shared it so many times, of my protege. My protege Damola. I met him in 2011, and God helped me. I began to mentor him, and then gradually I began to. Most of his jokes, he would share the jokes with me. I will help him shaping it. I would take him everywhere. He's gone with me to 3 countries: South Africa, Dubai, and we went to France last year. And every time I bring him on stage, sometimes I bring him, he does comedy. You know how somebody finishes the event, and sometimes I find it so hard to crack a joke there because I put more attention on him. I focused on him. And then in 2014, I was going to anchor Pastor Godman Akilabi's 40th birthday. But they called me later, and I told them I was engaged, that I had an event, but can I send my protege because I've been taking him to event. They said, okay, no problem. Damola will anchor him. And so he anchored this event. And then I finished my event, and trust me, they paid me more from my event where I was coming compared to Pastor Godman Akilabi, because Pastor Godman Akilabi was my pastor in Daystar before he started Elevation Church. So he was man that gave me the first platform in Daystar, in 2010 or 2009 when I got there, And so Damola, before I got there, Damola had finished. You know how Damola how killed it. He had killed the event. And then the distractors, she wasn't actually a distractor, but you know how she came to meet me outside and say, you know what? Damola has finished this event. Damola has cracked joke. He has finished this event. If you're going to take over this event, you need to be strong because the ovation is high. Even though I wasn't dealing with model, but you know the ovation is high. You know, the ovation is high. You need to take it. You know, and then as soon as she said the word, the devil struck. He just
Yeah.
put this guy, the person you sent to this place is supposed to amplify you. Is amplifying himself, and then he came, humble guy, just came to meet me. Ogami, I'm just waiting for you because we had a lot of repertoires that we do together. Ogami, I'm just waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to come so that we can do the materials. And as he said, yeah, not crack joke. We were just playing around the event. But because as soon as he came, as soon as he said that word, I got more angry. I said, what are you saying? Somebody just told me you have been cracking joke. You are telling me you are not cracking joke. What are you telling me? And I got angry for somebody that's representing me in a place. And I got angry, and then envy just came into my head. And I tell you, 2014, he almost finished my enemy. I'm sure my name would have been off if I had followed the way. And then guess what? I could not even crack a joke. I just said to myself, this is not a place to crack joke. This guy, you must not start competing and start saying you want to show anybody you are funny. So I went there. I said, what was the remaining program? I said, cutting of the cake and toast. I just handled the cutting of the cake. I greeted Pastor Godman, handled the cutting of the cake, and I left the place. I didn't even tell him I was leaving because I just
Wow.
realized something was wrong. Something was wrong. And I drove to the car and I left. And then he called me, he said, Ogami, they paid the money. I said, you know what, take the money. That time was 80,000. I said, take the money. He said, Ogami, I said, take the money. Because really, it's my job. I should have told you, guy, send me 30,000. But I said, take the money. And then God delivered me. He still worked with me in December. That one went. And then January, February, March, I was going to celebrate my 10 years on stage 2015. I came to the UK during the election with my mother and my wife. And then, I had some churches knew I was around. So they said, come. So I was at Kingsborough. I was at, Pastor Tunde Balogun. And then I anchored an event. And I met Pastor Komolafe in Manchester, Bimbo Komolafe. Yeah, he came to Kingsborough to minister. And then I anchored the event. And he liked what I did. And I heard that it was going to be 15 in May. And one of my bosses was going to be 14 in May, and he wanted me to come. He wasn't going to book my ticket, but I just said, you know what, when he was in Nigeria, he supported me back in 2008, 2009. I want to support this man. So I booked my ticket and I came to Manchester. And then I anchored the event in Manchester. No, I did his own program. And then during the week was Pastor Bimbo Komalafe's birthday. And they said they had gotten an MC already. I just went to attend the program. They said, no, there was no need for me to come. This is that they had an MC. And then, unfortunately, the MC began to mess up, began to say the things she wasn't supposed to say in Nigerian. He was just saying some things, and he just called me where I was sitting. SACO, where I collected the mic from that man. And Anchor, I said, me in Manchester. We between you. I don't say, you know what, I can't do that. Please tell the person I'm going to anchor with him. And that's what they did. So I went to meet him, sir. I was told I'm going to be working with you. Do you mind if I introduce the next program? And he said, no problem. So I introduced the next program, and the few minutes that I spent there, God gave me utterance and gave me opportunity, and I was able to express myself and do some few comedy, and bam, in less than 20 minutes, the event ended. And one pastor, Pastor Sam Okodwa, you know him now, Pastor Sam, Salford.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father, he just said, SACO, you don't know what he was with me for the first time. He said, you don't know what you have done. You have not delivered us. You did a fantastic job. You did this. We're having an invitation in October. I'm going to bring you. But one of the statements he said was, we have been bringing Oli Malam. I said, that's my mentor. He said, wow. I said, okay, you've been bringing him every year. And I was careful. Because for me, if you have been bringing my mentor and now you want to bring me, so I was careful. So I didn't follow up. I didn't even collect the pastor's number. Yeah, I didn't collect his number because I was careful. That's my boss's job. So I didn't follow up. I just kept quiet. I came back to Nigeria in March. I didn't hear from the person. I did my event, and I was going to do my show October 4th. And then in September, Damola called me and says, one of the pastors that came for Pastor Godman Akilabi's birthday, which was Pastor Yemi Davids of Global Impact, called him and told him to come and anchor their concert. Told him to come do comedy at their 3 services. And I was saying to myself, Pastor Yemi Davids knows that I do comedy. How come? You know how the devil began to say, how come he did not call you?
This is real gold here.
How come he did not call you? How come he called Damola? And the devil began to say, I know this Damola is about taking your place. It's already taking your shine. You have helped him now. This was someone that I've been mentoring since 2011 till 2014. He went with me When we meet to Dubai in 2014 for my event, and the devil began to, envy. He began to, this guy. And then guess what? He just said, Ogami, let's go together now. Let's go to the church together now. And because he has followed me everywhere, so I said, no worry, I'll follow you. I'll come for the service. So he had done the first service. He scattered the first service. Second service when I got there, and then he had done his repertoire. And then that was when he came and we did that testimony. You saw, I don't know if you saw the video, the testimony joke. And then we did a testimony joke, and the church went wild. And then I went to sit down, and I left for my event. I left the church. I said he was going to do a third service, so I left him. I said, I've done second service. Let me go. I shared some of my flyers, and then I went. And in 1 week or 2 weeks after, boom, the video of Damola and I went viral. Everybody began to call us. It went viral. Everybody. It was as if we were the rave of the moment that time. Everyone began to, and my show was going to be, was in 2 weeks. Guess what? My show was packed.
Sold out.
Sold out. And guess what? Guess who called me from Manchester? The pastor in Manchester called me. And they said they saw my video. They said they were going to bring me in March. They were going to bring me in May. And they saw the video and they wanted Damola and I to come to the UK, to Manchester. In fact, it was our video they used to do adverts in church for inhabitation. They didn't give Damola visa. I was the one that gave the visa, I had 2 years visa already. So they booked my ticket and I got to Manchester. From God delivering me from envy. And I said to myself, if I had not submitted myself and taken off that envy from my life, I would see the platform. Guess who I saw? From that Manchester, I've gone to my Southhold in Manchester like twice again after that first time in 2015. This woman has said, break up Tasha Cobbs. I met Tasha Cobbs in Manchester through their event. And I said to myself, I would have known Mike Abdul, Tim Godfrey, we're all in Manchester together.
Yeah,
I was saying to myself, yes, and I was saying to myself, if I this thing did not enter until later I began to assess myself and say, if I had not humbled myself and taken off envy from my side and taken off obscurity from my side, I won't get this platform I've gotten today. So for me, it's a story that I've been sharing to let people know that, see, you cannot, the summary of it is you cannot be, you need to be secure as a leader and let people know that, see, your proteges will do exceptional things, will do very well. They will do 10 times better than you. You will still be relevant. You will still be relevant, but they will do because they are more like they are younger. Most of them are younger, so they have people who like them to anchor. They're young. They want you. You're no longer getting younger. People say, no, that guy is getting old. Let's get somebody else. Let's get younger person that can relate with us. Your job as a mentor is to be happy with them. Like I said to you, the comparison I do is I am seeing my children doing well. I'm excited. I'm grateful to God. My children is doing well. My daughter is 6 years old. I have a 4-year-old. When they read, when they write, I'm excited. So tomorrow they're doing very well, and I'm saying, oh, my daughter is doing very well. I think I've given her all the information. Now she does not even, nobody's even looking at me. God is looking at you, and you are excited that you as a father, your daughter is doing well. Yeah, this is real. Somebody say this is real. I hope I've been able to.
Wow, no, somebody.
I know.
It's lovely. But just before we round up, just so that if someone is listening, so what are some of the things you put in to actually deal with that envy in that season? Because it happened. The reality is they happen. Yeah.
It happened. No, I tell you the truth, I have never, every time that thought comes, I take it out. I take it out. Never. I've never had that envy, and I said to myself, why would I envy my son? That's how I say it. Why would I envy my 3-year-old son? Why would I envy my 5-year-old son? That's how I put it in my mind, to make me understand that, see, I'm telling you, the thought still comes. Sometimes, the devil doesn't want to put it. I have guys that God has helped me to mentor that are doing events that I don't do. They are on platforms that I don't go. One of my proteges forever was a Basketmouth, concert in London. It was Alibaba. It gone to Alibaba's platform. They appreciate him, and something they'll say, how come they're calling this guy? They're not calling you. I said to myself, see, SACO, you can't be everywhere. People that know you, people that appreciate you, people will book. For somebody to book my ticket to Israel, it's not beans.
Mhm.
The first renowned architect, what's her name? Auntie Jumoke. Jumoke, I didn't know what, taking me to Israel, booking my ticket, putting me. I went to Jerusalem, went to Israel, went, to anchor her 50th birthday 2 years ago. It's a privilege. I wasn't the only one that anchored that event. How come I was the one she showed? God sees my heart. God has a way of rewarding me. It gives me platform. So it does not come. Whenever it comes, I say, this is my son, this is my daughter. This is my daughter, even though I might just be 4 years or 6 years older than them. But this is
Mhm.
my daughter. This is how. But I begin to calculate from when I began to mentor them. That's how I see it. I began
Yep.
to mentor this guy in 2011. So from 2011 to date, this guy is 11, is
9 years
9 years old.
old.
It's my son. He's doing very well. He's followed me to 3 countries, and I see other guys. One of my proteges he bought a Mercedes of worth 12 million, for his wife. And I'm saying, oh my God, 12 million. It is involved to being a comedian, to being a content provider, MC Shem. What an
Mhm.
ML. What that today? I had a recording with them today. The Mercedes is what 11 million to 12 million. In my mind, I said to myself, these guys are, they've done great things. Damola is driving a 2014 Corolla. I'm driving a 2007 Honda. But my joy is these guys are doing well. I have other things, I have other assignments that I'm doing that God is blessing me with. It's not the car. Like I said, I'm excited. When I see them drive the car, I say, God, I'm grateful. Just like the way my mentor, Only Man, was excited when I bought my first car. And then he saw me drive my second car, Camry. And then I told him I bought a house. And then the excitement, so many value, so it never, I tell you the truth, it never comes to my mind. Someone says, you just give birth to me.
That is one of my clients who just joined.
Yeah. So so
Wow,
so
wow.
that so that's
Go on,
how
go on.
mentorship is supposed to be for people. That's my different definition of how I see life. It's a privilege. Most of them, one of them, Damola, keeps every time he keeps telling me, says, "Sir, I'm grateful to God that you gave me the platform. I'm grateful to God that you shared." And you know what I do when I bring these guys? When I bring them to my platform, I pay them. So when
Nice.
when they call me and say, "SACO, we want you to answer an event," I call them. I said, "This event is my event, but come." So I give them. I say, you know what? And I tell them something. I'm so open. My wife says I'm so open. I said, this event they paid 100,000. They paid 200,000. But you guys take 10,000. Take it. It's my platform. Take.
Mm,
My protege will still say SACO is one of the guys that will bring me to his platform and still pay me.
nice.
And now one of them every December brings me bag of rice. The last one he brought me bag of rice. He's always been bringing a bag of rice. And this December he brought me a bag of rice. And I shouted. I met this guy in 2012 forever. He brought me a bag of rice with granite oil, and I'm saying, how did I get here? I'm already receiving offering, and I'm not even a pastor. You know,
That's
So
amazing.
I'm happy. I'm privileged. It's a privilege, and I tell Damola, I said, Damola, I am privileged that I share the things that I did with you. If I did not do that, somebody else will do it, and the person will do it very well. And
Mm,
that's what makes me finish the story. So he has nothing to thank me about. I say, God, I'm grateful to God. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good. Yeah, you sow a seed, but it's not everywhere you sow the seed. And trust me, it's not only Damola that I mentor that came to say thank you. I have a lot of guys that I mentor like that did not come back to say thank you.
mm.
The devil
Yep.
sometimes will say, this guy stayed. And trust me, this guy stayed in my house. He wore my clothes. He did this. My wife knew about him. Until date has not given me. And the devil just want me to concentrate on that. But why are you giving me? Why are you putting that thought in my mind? Why are you putting this thought in my mind? I can see other things. Why? And that's what the word does. It makes you look at the weakness. One out of 10 things, 1 out of 40 something people that are doing well, that are your protege, and just one person that did not say thank you, or did not, or
Yep.
even backstab you, is allow you put all your energy in that person. So my attention is the things that God has done for me. When I call them today, they answer, they respond, and they are still humble to date. They are still my children. I don't call them children. It's because I don't call them children, but they are
Yep. Yep.
still God's assignment to me to say that, you know what, I pray for them, I check up on them, you know, to say, how are you doing? Sometimes I go visit them, I take gift to them. Because for me, it's like a grandfather bringing gift to their parents, to
Yeah.
their children. And I'm still very young anyway.
It reminds me of an experience I had when I was in uni. I was teaching one evening. I used to run 100-man mass choir, and I was teaching one evening. On purpose, and I told the guy who used to be like my right-hand man to round up the meeting that night. And the guy picked up the microphone and said, "Aaron, after listening to you talk on purpose like that, today is my last day in this group." I'm like, what?
What?
That was not. He said, "Today's my last day in this group. As in, after listening to you talk on purpose, I'm very clear what my purpose is now. And I'm going to go and chase it." I said, "My friend, nope.
That's not the purpose
I did not speak on purpose for you to purpose your way out."
That's not the purpose of why you're here.
I'm telling you, I struggled with it. And I heard God tell me, whatever you let go would always come back to you.
Yes, sir.
And I eventually released him, and he started he joined another friend of mine and started a men's group on campus. And this guy is so brilliant. He's so intelligent. His exposition of the word, fantastic, phenomenal, calm guy. And people will go and ask him, "Where did you learn these things? Where did you learn this?" And he will say, "Aaron taught me." But in that season, and just for anybody who's listening, in that season on campus, I was one of those people who were are typically misunderstood. For everybody who's listening, misunderstood, because I was different. I was flashy. I used to hang out with club boys. You know, I wasn't your typical Christian boy, right? But this guy had the validation of, you know, he was your Christian look. And everybody thought, wow, if this guy gives props to Aaron, then maybe this Aaron guy really is a Christian. That guy, me releasing that guy, was what gave me validation on campus.
Praise God.
I could have held on to that guy and never allowed him to fulfill his purpose, and would have still lived in the shadows. Now that guy, and many of them, I mean, you know, some of the people said to me, BC, the OAP, those were people who, BC, these were people who I remember when she joined my choir, and people said she can't sing. I said, no, if you're in this group, you would sing. And today, a lot of people found their callings through somebody who's believing in them and just saying, hey, you can do it. Let's do something. So it's really good to hear. And that's why I really wanted you to come, because here on the Thrivers group, I mean, you can hear what people are saying. I bring real people. I bring people who I believe were of the same tribe. I bring people who have a story. I bring people. It's not even a story just about the stories that you watch them, you see them, and you just know, they're of your tribe. And thank you for being such a great blessing to us. I'm seeing people say they have to watch this. There's been so much nuggets. There's still so much. I mean, the 40th birthday thing didn't happen, but there's still so much in our world to do together. You've been a blessing.
Thank you, sir.
You know, thank you so much, SACO. Thanks for being a blessing to us.
Sir.
Thanks for all that you do in our world. And it can only be the height. We will see you in the heights, and we're always going to be supporting you. Thanks for being a blessing to us.
All right, everybody.
Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Bye.
Bye, man.